What's up, everybody? Blessed be. My name is Mannun, and you are watching Witch in the Working, where we will be discussing all things witchy in and around, throughout and about, above, below, and beyond. Please visit me on my other platforms as well, including Facebook, Instagram, and Patreon, all linked down in the description below. The full script to this video and most of the others is available on my Patreon account for download if desired to build your own Witch in the Working Book of Shadows. So here we are, back at, we're in the townhouse now. We are moved in finally. And this is the studio behind me, which I tend to just move the same props and everything from place to place. So, you know, it always pretty much looks the same, but this is what we got set up at this point. And I got a video coming out real soon showing the rest of the place. So if you watch that video, you'll see what the rest of the room looks like in the meantime as well. So anyway, the world of the occult, with its vast worlds of myths, legends, and supernatural beings, has long fascinated people around the world for centuries. Among these diverse entities, few are as interesting and controversial as the Incubus and Succubus. These nocturnal spirits have been both feared and revered throughout history, and most often associated with seduction and dreams. Throughout the realm of Wicca, witchcraft, and other occult practices, understanding these entities can be very enticing, not just for their historical importance, but also for their sustained importance in modern-day occult circles. At first glance, the Incubus and Succubus might seem like mere creatures of fantasy, conjured up to explain mysterious nocturnal experiences or to serve as cautionary tales about the dangers of unhampered desires. But if we take a closer look, it demonstrates realms of beliefs, stories, and interpretations that span cultures and ages. From the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia and Greece to the Christian-dominated Middle Ages, these entities have been explained and redefined, each time reflecting present societal norms, taboos, and fascinations of a particular era. But why do we care? Why is it essential to understand these spirits within the worlds of Wicca, witchcraft, and the occult? One of my personal opinions is because I think that anything and everything above, below, and beyond that has to do with the occult, you know, should be known if you are an occultist. But for starters, they also serve as a link between the ancient and the modern, reminding us that while we all evolve, certain experiences and fears remain a constant. Secondly, as with many occult entities, the Incubus and Succubus question our assumption of what is perceived as good and evil, welcoming us to look beyond simple definitions and explore the gray areas of righteous desire and power. In this video, we're going to journey through time, looking into the history and evolution of the Incubus and Succubus. We'll check out their characteristics, their impact on art and literature throughout the ages, and their many changes they've taken throughout different religions and systems. Many of you probably don't put much stock in these entities, but I challenge you to keep an open mind. Whether you view them as mere myths, psychological symbols, or real spiritual beings, there's no negating their undying allure and intrigue in the world of the occult. So without further ado, let's roll the intro. Welcome back, everybody. So what exactly are the Incubus and Succubus? What do they do, and what are the differences between them? Let's delve into the definitions and characteristics of these nocturnal seducers and develop a clear picture and idea of each. The incubus is a male entity of nightly encounters. The name incubus comes from the Latin word incubare, which translates to lie upon. The incubus is traditionally seen as a male demon or spirit. This entity is believed to visit women during their nightly slumbers, often participating and engaging in sexual acts with them. The physical appearance of the incubus varies across tales and cultures. While some describe them as dark, mystical figures with a haunting presence, others depict them as grotesque and terrifying. The ultimate goal of the incubus is to engage in sexual relations with sleeping women. Some legends even suggest that these encounters can result in pregnancies, with the offspring often possessing unique or supernatural traits. Mostly, the incubus is seen as a quite malevolent entity, but of course, throughout different cultures, opinions can differ, with some explanations presenting them as more mischievous than outright evil. The succubus is the alluring female temptress. The term succubus finds its roots in the Latin word succubere, meaning to lie beneath. This female counterpart to the incubus is believed to seduce men in their dreams, and sometimes extracting vital energy or essence during the encounter. Succubi are usually described as enchanting and mysterious women, most often with a mixture of human and demonic features, such as wings or horns. Their beauty is a central aspect of their identity, serving as a tool for seduction. While their primary intent is very much the same as that of the incubus, the methods of the succubus are often more seductive in nature and a lot less aggressive like the incubus. Some stories suggest that they collect semen from the men they seduce, which incubi then use to impregnate mortal women. Succubi are generally considered demonic entities, just like their male counterparts, the incubi. However, some stories and traditions paint a more subtle picture, highlighting their sensuality and even at times portraying them in a kinder, gentler, or neutral light, so to speak. It's important to realize that the physical and behavioral descriptions of the incubus and the succubus can vary greatly based on cultural, regional, and historical scenarios. While the descriptions I provided are a general overview, individual stories might present these beings in many different unique and diverse ways. The tales and stories of nocturnal spirits seducing men and women in their sleep have been whispered and scattered across societies for centuries. The incubus and succubus, as we know them today, are but the latest names in a long line of creatures, demons, or spirits, if you will, believed to engage in intimate relations with the unsuspecting mortal world. To truly come to grips with these beings, we must journey back in time, exploring ancient cultures and their beliefs and stories about these mysterious creatures. In the land between the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, where some of the world's earliest civilizations inhabited the lands, we find many sources to creatures resembling the incubus and succubus. The Lilu and Lilitu were spirits believed to haunt desolate and mysterious places, with the Lilitu often being associated with wind and storms. As time progressed, these entities evolved into the character of Lilith, a demoness or dark goddess in some systems, who would later be associated with the succubus in Jewish folklore. The Greeks, with their pantheon of gods and goddesses and what seems like an endless library of mythological beasts, also had entities that embraced similarities to the incubus and succubus. One such example was the Empusa, a shape-shifting demoness who seduced young men before consuming their flesh. Also, tales of gods like Zeus taking various forms to have sexual intercourse with humans can be seen as a harbinger to the shape-shifting abilities so common to the incubus and succubus in later traditions. As Christianity dominated across Europe, many pagan beliefs and ideas were interpreted through a Christian viewpoint. The incubus and succubus to the Christians were often seen as demons sent by the devil to influence and poison the faithful minds astray. These creatures were believed to interfere with the sacred act of procreation, with the incubus impregnating women with demon seed, and the succubus collecting semen from men to pass on to her male counterpart. In doing so, it was believed that half demon and half human beings could be birthed onto this physical world. This time period saw an intense increase in reports and encounters and experiences with these entities, often mixed in with the horrific themes of witchcraft, heresy, and demonic possession. While the incubus and succubus are most commonly associated with the European Middle Ages, it's clear that the concept of spirits or deities participating in sexual encounters with people is ancient and widespread throughout multiple cultures. From the deserts of Mesopotamia to the lavish cities of Greece, and then throughout the medieval towns and villages of Europe, these stories and tales evolved, expressing the societal norm, fears, taboos, and fascinations of each generation. In understanding the history of the incubus and succubus, we gather a better understanding not just into the growth and changes of these particular entities, but also into the experiences that early humans shared with them. They serve as a mirror, reflecting our deepest temptations, fears, and attempts to make sense of the mysteries of the night and the creatures that lurk in the shadows. Throughout history, tales and stories of mysterious beings, creatures, and so-called monsters have not only influenced our perceptions of the unknown and the things that go bump in the night, but have also left notable ideas and understandings on various aspects of society and cultures. Some of these stories, such as those of the incubus and succubus, are spotlighted, creating a special realm of fascination, caution, and self-perception. The societal and cultural impact of these nighttime visitors spans art, literature, and modern media, shining a light on society's ever-changing perceptions and fascinations. Let's take a look at some of the profound influences these figures have encouraged throughout the centuries. From the explicit carvings of ancient temples to the canvases of the Renaissance era, the concepts of the incubus and succubus have intrigued artists' minds for centuries. Early depictions often portrayed these entities as spirits of temptation or cautionary and dangerous figures warning of the hazards of frivolous desires. With the arrival of the Renaissance period, artists began to explore the duality of these beings, staggering between their glamorous and ominous aspects. Paintings from this era often depict them in dreamlike settings, emphasizing their connection to the subconscious. One of the most famous paintings that depict an incubus-like creature is The Nightmare by the Swiss artist Johann Heinrich Füssli, painted in 1781. The painting showcases a woman in deep sleep or unconscious state sprawled across a divan in a somewhat dramatic pose. On her chest sits a small demonic creature which is often interpreted as an incubus. The creature stares out at the viewer, adding to the eerie atmosphere of the scene. In the background, a horse with wide staring eyes, a mare playing on the word nightmare, peers through a curtain, adding another layer of the surreal and ominous to the composition. Writing and literature throughout history has been very important in eternalizing the stories of the incubus and succubus, with tales as diverse as ancient myths to contemporary novels. Early texts and scripts, especially those from the Middle Ages, often depicted these entities in religious or moral scenarios, highlighting themes of temptation, sin, and redemption. Contemporary authors have reimagined these figures, sometimes presenting them as villains or complicated characters that challenge traditional mysteries involving morality. Their roles in modern stories often delve into deeper themes of identity, desire, and the human psyche. One of the most well-known tales involving a figure very much like a succubus is the legend of Lilith from Jewish folklore. Lilith is often considered one of the earliest examples of a succubus-like figure. While her story has a ton of variations, a common thread is her association with Adam, the first man, before Eve was ever created. In some versions, Lilith was created from the same earth as Adam, making them equals. However, conflicts arose between them, particularly concerning roles and hierarchy. Due to these disagreements, Lilith pronounced the ineffable name of God and flew away from the Garden of Eden. She settled near the Red Sea, a place populated by various demons. In her new home, Lilith became the consort of demons and bore many demonic offspring. These offsprings, or the Lilim, are sometimes considered night spirits that harm infants and pregnant women. Lilith is often depicted as a beautiful woman who seduces men in their dreams, drawing similarities to the succubus. She's also associated with night terrors and is believed to steal the breath from children, leading to sudden infant death. In some versions of the tale, three angels, Sanvi, Sun Sanvi, and Samangalath, are sent to retrieve Lilith after her departure from Eden. They find her by the Red Sea but fail to convince her to return. They do, however, manage to strike a deal. Lilith promises not to harm newborn children if they're protected by an amulet with the angels' names inscribed on it. This legend of Lilith has been reinterpreted in various cultures and religions. While she's often seen as a malevolent figure in early Jewish folklore, some modern interpretations view her as a symbol of female independence and resistance against patriarchal norms. The mystery of the incubus and succubus has in fact found its way to modern-day media. Films, TV shows, and even music have drawn from their tales, adapting and molding them to tickle the minds of today's audiences. From horror films that paint them as antagonists to fantasy series where they are central characters, these entities have been reimagined in a plethora of ways, playing on societal fascinations, fears, and taboos. Various musical genres as well have substantiated these entities, using them as metaphors for passion, obsession, or the darker aspects of love and sex. The figures of the incubus and succubus with their nocturnal allure and mystique have not only permeated folklore and culture, but have also been subjects of theological and philosophical scrutiny. These entities, often associated with seduction and dreams, have been interpreted in various ways, reflecting the evolving understanding of morality, desire, and the supernatural. Let's delve into the diverse theological and philosophical interpretations of these mysterious beings. Within the Christian tradition, the incubus and succubus are often seen through a lens of caution and wariness. These entities are typically classified as demons, agents of Satan, sent to lead the faithful astray. Their seductive nature is seen as a tool to divert souls from the path of righteousness. Their interference in the marital bed, especially the incubus's association with impregnating women and the succubus's role in seducing men, is viewed as a corruption of the sacred act of procreation. During the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, alleged encounters with these entities were sometimes confessed under duress during witch trials, further instilling their association with evil and the devil. Even today, when doing a Google or YouTube search on the Incubus and Succubus, the majority of the information that pops up is heavily saturated with the Christian church warning about the dangers of the spiritual spouse. In contrast to the predominantly negative Christian perspective, pagan and occult systems and some other polytheistic traditions offer a more nuanced view. Some traditions view these entities as spirits of nature or fertility, neither inherently good nor evil, but rather as forces of nature. In certain pagan traditions, the incubus and succubus might be revered as deities or representatives of desire, passion, and dreams. Some pagan perspectives will even work with these spirits and energies and intertwine their vibrations with fertility magic. In extreme interactions, some will conjure these entities within sex magic scenarios, dabbling with demonology and other edgy practices that are definitely not for the faint of heart nor beginners. Modern psychology offers another lens through which to view these entities, often detaching them from their supernatural roots. The incubus and succubus can be seen as manifestations of suppressed desires or fantasies coming to the foreground during dreams. On the flip side, they might represent deep-seated fears or traumas, especially concerning intimacy or vulnerability. Many of us have experienced sleep paralysis at one point or another. I know I have multiple times in my existence. The physical sensations often associated with encounters, such as a weight on the chest or an inability to move, align with symptoms of sleep paralysis, suggesting a potential psychological explanation for some historical accounts. So you think you might be being visited by an incubus, succubus, or any entity for that matter while you sleep at night. Here's a few things that may be able to help you out. Sacred symbols. Throughout history, various symbols have been used to ward off negative entities. Drawing or placing protective symbols such as the pentagram, crosses, or specific runes near the bed or on the body can serve as a deterrent. Amulets and talismans. Wearing or placing protective amulets near the sleeping area can offer protection. Historically, objects like the Hamsa hand, protective stones, or amulets inscribed with prayers or runic symbols have been used. Herbal protection. Certain herbs are believed to ward off negative energies. Hanging bundles of rosemary, garlic, or sage in the bedroom, or even placing them under the pillow, can act as a protective barrier. Salt barriers. Salt, often seen as a purifying agent, can be sprinkled throughout the bed or bedroom to create a protective barrier against unwanted entities. Holy water. In Christian traditions, sprinkling holy water around the sleeping area or on oneself before sleep can serve as a protective measure. This works in craft circles as well with witches' holy water. Prayers, chants, or affirmations. Reciting specific prayers, chants, or affirmations before sleep can set a protective intention. This practice is found in various religious and spiritual traditions. Meditation and visualization. Engaging in protective meditations before sleep, such as visualizing a shield or bubble of white light surrounding you, can create a psychic barrier. The sleep environment. Ensuring your sleeping environment is calm, positive, and free from negative energies can be protective. This might involve regularly cleansing the space through smudging, sound healing, or other purification practices. Seek guidance. If you believe you're experiencing disturbances, seeking guidance from spiritual leaders, therapists, or experts in paranormal phenomena can provide tailored advice and interventions. Educate and empower. Understanding the lore, history, and nature of these entities can be empowering. Knowledge can demystify the experience, reducing fear and enhancing one's sense of control. Protection against the incubus and succubus, whether viewed as real entities or symbolic manifestations, blends ancient wisdom with modern practices. By creating a harmonious sleep environment, utilizing protective symbols and rituals, and empowering oneself with knowledge, one can navigate the realm of dreams with confidence and peace. The tales of the incubus and succubus, with their dark mystery and mystique, have traveled through time, changing and adapting to the societies they touch. These entities, often shrouded in both fear and fascination, offer a special lens through which to view humanity's collective psyche. As we wrap up our exploration of these beings, let's take a glance back on their enduring legacy and the insights they provide. At their core, the incubus and succubus represent raw, unbridled desire. They challenge societal norms, pushing boundaries and often venturing into the realm of the taboo. Their tales force us to confront our own desires, asking us to differentiate between genuine passion and destructive obsession. These entities, with their ability ability to invade our most private moments during sleep symbolize the fear of the unknown. They remind us of the vulnerabilities inherent in human condition, urging us to seek understanding and protection. From ancient civilizations to modern pop culture, the stories of the Incubus and Succubus have been retold and reimagined. Their adaptability speaks to their universal appeal and relevance, ensuring their tales remain compelling across ages. The portrayal of these entities often mirrors the societal norms of the time. For instance, periods that emphasized strict moral codes often depicted these beings as purely malevolent, while more liberal areas explored their multifaceted natures and at times depicting them as lighter beings. Contemporary interpretations often view the Incubus and Succubus through a psychological lens. They can be seen as manifestations of suppressed desires, traumas, or even sleep phenomena like sleep paralysis. Modern retellings, especially in feminist movements, have reimagined these entities as symbols of empowerment, agency, and resistance against patriarchal norms, especially that of the succubus as expressed in the myth and story of Lilith, who is often seen as a female empowerment in modern times. The Incubus and Succubus, with their fascinating histories and multifaceted roles, serve as a foundation to humanity's quest to understand the unknown. They challenge us, frighten us, and sometimes even seduce us. But more importantly, they reflect our deepest desires, fears, and the eternal dance between light and shadow. As society continues to change and evolve, so too will the tales of these entities, ensuring their stories remain a captivating part of our cultural diversities for generations to come. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode of Witch in the Working. What's your opinion of the Incubus and Succubus? Have you ever experienced a visit by these entities? Tell us your story if you wish. Let us all know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to ring that little bell to be reminded of the wonderful and exciting future episodes to come. I love you guys and gals. Blessed be.